are now tuned in to the sounds of Frank Christian, aka Bootie Brown. Ain't got it. Oh, it's so lovely.
My life is usually in the studio. I don't really go out to parties or anything when I'm back home. I just stay in the studio all the time. So I just feel comfortable there. So that's just it. I don't know if you want to say a hermit or, or, you know, like my man is saying, oh, you should be more sociable. And I'm like, man, you know, my friends are right here. They're electronic, you know. They don't talk back to me. They treat me nice if I treat them nice, you know. I think the first time I used the sampler was an MPC 60. We all stayed, you know, far side, we all stayed together in one place. And it was like a place called SCU, which was a production house. And they had MPC 60s, they had 1000s, they had a couple other keyboards. One of the main producers, Jay Swift, you know, he would lock the room. So like you couldn't really get into the room. What I would do is like the part on the top, I would just make a bed right there and I would just sleep in there in the shelf. And then at nighttime, I would just come down and just start working on the drum machine. The way that this is, it's like you can sample a new sound straight from record into this. Having this right here, this part is like, oh my God, like it saves so much time because you could just throw the sound in there. Jay Dilla, his whole thing was like the shifting, like shifting the kick or the snare a little behind the beat or a little ahead of the beat. Most pattern sequences don't shift. Like it's just gridlocked. Like you're locked on the grid to what you want to use. And then I was like, wow, you can really, you know. Then I found out like, oh wow, you can, you know, you have the random patterns, and then it was like, well, you know, you have the offset and you have the velocity, and so like when you go into this little part right here, you have the shift and you have the repeats and you have that. Like when I found the shift, I was like, whoa! I was like, that's it. Like, you know, like now I can shift that snare a little off. I can drag it, and it just gives you a little bit more what they call a humanistic feel, I guess. It's not so, you know, one on top of each other. I like to use the guy samples, like what's in here, and then incorporate my own, and just kind of layer to make a new sound. And that's why I say, like, to me, like, Geist is more like, it's more like sound designing. Like, you can kind of like design your own sound. Like, you know, I want the kick booming, but I want a little bit more punch. And then you can just keep adding kicks, or you can just keep playing around with different sounds to what you can feel. Start, you know, you start basic, you know, I don't know, let's see. Just having to duplicate. Now it's 4 bars, you know, you can do it like that's great to be able to do that. And then you can have, like, if you don't like a hi-hat, to be able to just go and, it's okay, you know, maybe I want to just do something a little different. And just be able to just, like, that's incredible. Like, you know, like that, like to be able to, like, to have to do that, like, manually. Oh my God, like, it'll take you forever. Like, you have to go through so much. Like I said, you can keep building until you just feel comfortable with it. What used to take me about 2 or 3 hours to just try to go there and do all the slices, now it's like, I can go and I can do it in 5 minutes, you know? Not saying that you're gonna make, like, the beat is gonna be complete in 5 minutes, but the preparation that it would take you to cut the sample, cut the drum kick, you know, all that is just so much faster. So now for me, like knowing that it's just so fast, you know, I may make 7 or 8 tracks and you'd be able to listen to them like whatever's going on to just feel like, you know what, this is what I want to go with. I feel more, you know, this track, this direction, you know, everything's laid out real good right now. And then, you know, you still have the other tracks, but you just have the one, and it just, like I said, it's just the time consumption is just zapped. I love making music. Like I can't even explain that. That's my day in and day out. That's all I do. So to have somebody assist you on things that you love to do is just like, wow, like it's an admiration that you can't say, you know, like, whoa, like somebody really takes time to really give me something that I need, you know, like I needed socks. They didn't give me a sweater or a tie, you know, they gave me socks, you know, that's great, you know, somebody finally gives me what I need, you know. Solo project right now is going to be called Frank Friction. It's kind of like a 3-part series that I'm doing. It's going to be like a mixtape, and I'm going to release an EP and then an album. So the title is like Bird Talk, which is kind of a throwback of the past. Basically, I read something that said that the language of the angels was spoken like through birds, like, you know, and it's like and it just hit me like a different thing, and it's just all basically about like music and song was kind of like the first language. That's kind of like how it's kind of transcribed. So I thought it was just very interesting that somebody would have that, and so I'm trying to like put that concept into my whole album as far as like this is like a universal language. Like music is basically like the universal language that everybody can kind of sort of understand, and you know it's not really threatening. You know, people open themselves up to music no matter different cultures. You know, everybody's pretty much open to it. I don't know too many people who don't like music.
This is just a sample of